Hello, I'm Dr. Marianne Teitelbaum, and today we're going to talk about the difference between synthetic remedies and natural remedies. Now, I listen to as many podcasts as I can, and I study modern nutritional research as much as my limited time allows. And I like to keep up with the field of nutrition to make sure I stay up to date with the many advances made in this ever-changing discipline. Fortunately, though, as I study what the leading nutritional experts have to say, I always have my Ayurvedic training as a backdrop, so I can fill in any gaps in the knowledge that might be out there. So, for example, I always feel a bit of a disconnect when it comes to the remedies which are recommended for healing the body. Many functional medicine practitioners, naturopaths, and holistic doctors who use nutrition in their practices recommend numerous types of synthetic vitamins to their patients. Now, while these may have some benefit, there's really quite a difference between using food, herbs, and spices, which are grown in nature, and vitamins, which are synthetically made in a lab. So let's examine how these may be different. Behind the scenes in managing our health, Ayurveda concerns itself with unseen energies, which are found outside of the body as well as inside our bodies and our cells, and even in the gaps between our cells. And if we want to heal ourselves in the deepest way possible, we need to harness nature's healing energy. The ancient rishis of India who cognized Ayurveda said that life as we know it began with the Adi Tattva, or the vibrational power of nature within the origin of the universe, which is eternal. The Adi Tattva then manifests to a vibration of Ah, which then transforms to the Om vibration. Om creates three tattvas then, known as Soma, Agni, and Marut. Soma is the lunar vibration coming from the moon, which is nurturing and cooling. Agni is the fiery energy of the sun, which gives heat and produces transformation in the body. And Marut supports the flow of Soma and Agni, and it determines how much Soma should be transformed into Ojas and Kapha. The space element is the first element formed, the first material vibration of Adi Tattva. Then the air element is formed, which is kind of like the space element in action. The space element by itself can't do anything, but the air element carries the space element. Then the fire element is formed out of the air element. This fire element next forms dense water, which then forms the most dense element, the earth element. Thus, the original three vibrations of Soma, Agni, and Marut become five elements of space, air, fire, water, and earth. And then when these elements come into our body, they form Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Vata represents the space and air element, Pitta is the fire element, and Kapha represents water and earth elements. And it's these three elements which are behind the scenes, controlling all the various functions in our bodies. But because they can't be seen, they're currently being missed in our discussions of what the body needs to heal itself. All the herbs, food, and spices we ingest have Soma, Agni, and Marut. They carry the vibration of Adi Tattva, which is how they create their various actions. So this is very important. Pranic energy has to be there on all the herbs, spices, and food in order for true healing to occur. Ojas is the compound made by our bodies from the finest digestion of our food. Once the food has nourished all seven tissues, at the end of the seventh tissue, Ojas is formed. Ojas is a life-supporting factor and is semi-vibrational. It carries a lot of vibration, connecting one organ to another organ, and is the connecting factor to everything inside and outside of the body. That's why Ojas is considered the lamp at the door. It gives light inside and outside of our bodies and connects the outer universe to the inner universe inside our bodies. So together, these three energies, Soma, Agni, and Marut, make up prana, our life-giving vibrational energy, which comes into the body at the top of the head, through the nostrils, ears, eyes, and mouth, and goes down the spine through a vibrational channel known as the Sushumna Nadi. The Sushumna Nadi delivers this vibrational energy to all the organs and glands and all the cellular systems. The herbs, spices, and foods receive varying amounts of Soma, Agni, and Marut as they grow out in the fields, and it's this vibration that gets delivered into our bodies when we ingest them. For example, chili peppers contain a lot of fiery Agni, while zucchini and cucumbers contain more cooling Soma energy. So it's important that whatever we take into our bodies has this intelligent vibration of nature. We now know that there's a lot of communication within the various systems of our bodies. We've just discovered the fact that the gut microbiome talks to the mitochondria, and new feedback loops are being discovered all the time. The whole endocrine system has a dialogue which monitors the levels of circulating hormones, and then signals are sent out to all the glands when more hormones are needed. The production of melatonin is increased when our pineal gland senses that the sun is going down. And like that, hundreds, if not thousands, of pieces of information are being carried both throughout the cellular system and in the gaps between the cells where transformation takes place. And how does the body actually talk or communicate with itself through these thousands of discussions? It's through vibration. Through the pranic energy delivering the Soma, Agni, and Marut, so that all the cells in our bodies can function through the direction of the newly transformed Vata, Pitta, and Kapha inside of our bodies. So it becomes imperative that whatever we take to heal ourselves contains this pranic energy, this vibration of nature. In fact, if we want to heal ourselves with natural medicine, then the food needs to be grown in nature. Supplements such as the various synthetic vitamin supplements on the market may have some effects, but we're beginning to discover that at the deepest level, the cellular system is being dumbed down by these dumb remedies, which is how we described unintelligent, synthetically made supplements, as well as processed foods, which contain less nutritional value and are devoid of the pranic energy. Which is why many of the new patients I see feel so much better when I tell them to stop taking many of their vitamin pills, which were prescribed by their well-meaning physicians and practitioners. Part of the paradigm shift that needs to occur in both modern medicine and what we perceive to be holistic medicine here in the Western world is that we need to break the habit of isolating the active ingredients out of the natural remedies and trusting that the whole remedy will work better at a deep cellular level in our bodies. So, for example, instead of taking synthetically derived butyrate supplements, we can trust that ghee, which contains high amounts of naturally occurring butyrate, will work much better without the side effects. We should drink warm goat's milk to help heal the infections in our gut with the naturally occurring caprylic acid found in the milk. This is much better than taking a supplement of caprylic acid to kill infection, since killing in the gut is not always the best idea, since invariably you're going to kill the friendly bacteria that reside there, which is why you got the infection in the first place. In the same way, isolating the ascorbic acid out of the citrus fruit is bound to have some side effects, such as creating acidity in the cells. Ayurveda extensively uses amla berry, which is loaded with vitamin C, but it creates instant alkalinity upon entering the body. Our cells need to be alkaline in order to function smoothly. And we're not isolating the vitamin C out of the amla berry, but instead keeping it in contact with all the other nutrients located within the berry for a more balanced approach to healing the cells. Lately, it's been shown that people who are taking biotin for hair, skin, and nail problems are developing false readouts of hyperthyroidism, specifically Graves' disease, on their blood workups for the thyroid gland. So while biotin may help hair and nail growth, it seems to have an unintelligent side effect, since it's an unintelligent nutrient. Second, we have to break the habit of thinking that just because something is good for us, it doesn't necessarily mean that more is better. Flooding our cells with a nutrient just because we've studied that it's beneficial won't necessarily create good health, as the many cells in the body lose their balance of nutrients. For example, high copper levels can create extreme nervousness in the patient. Most of the vitamin supplements contain levels of vitamins that are much higher than those found in the original food. Is it good to go against nature like this? And 3, underlying most of the diseases we experience are problems associated with the flow and the delivery of pure prana to our cells. And again, prana comes from the vibration of nature, from the sun, the moon, and the delivery of that prana to our cells. This is why the ancient systems of healing, such as Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine, use the pulse to analyze the patient's health. In the pulse, you can feel these energies, the flow of the prana, the balance between Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and their subdoshas, which are the areas of the body they affect. They can't be seen on an MRI or a CAT scan. So by overlooking the role these energies play in keeping the body running smoothly, we're effectively missing out on a big piece of that person's total health care, preventing a full cure. For example, if your thyroid gland is weak because your Vata is too high, you'll only gain minimal healing of the gland whether you use pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals, or even our Ayurvedic herbs, if you don't learn what Vata is and how to keep it balanced in your body, because high Vata keeps tugging down the thyroid gland. We must therefore take into consideration the vibrational in all of our healing modalities, since underlying this physical body and all its ailments is a disruption in the energy pathways that make up and control the physical body. So, to reiterate, the root of all health problems begin at a vibrational level, and if let go, will eventually lead to the more physical ailments, which give us all the symptoms and diseases we experience, in much the same way that the physical universe manifests out of vibration, which ultimately expresses itself as more and more dense earth elements. Many people report to me that they take vitamin supplements because their diets are lacking, that they don't have the time to cook. Food has been shown to have thousands of phytonutrients, and to think we can isolate them out of the food to make these synthetic supplements at doses much higher than found in nature is not good thinking and won't necessarily give us the health that we're looking for. Instead, please try to figure out how to cook at home as much as you can, using wholesome ingredients, choosing from a wide variety of foods so you can maximize your nutritional intake. This is what our ancestors did, and the human race was built on food growing outside in the fields. When you eat real food, you're not consuming single nutrients, but rather a whole range of vitamins, minerals, cofactors, enzymes, and fibers that allow for optimal use by the body. Without these additional factors found in the whole food, synthetic nutrients are unlikely to be used by the body in the same way as their natural counterparts. For example, studies show that natural vitamin E is absorbed twice as efficiently as synthetic vitamin E. And here's some research proving that synthetic vitamins have side effects. A study that included data on 35,533 healthy men found that vitamin E supplements significantly increase the risk of prostate cancer. A review of 49 studies found that supplementation with vitamin A was associated with a 16% higher risk of cancer. Beta-carotene supplements have been shown to significantly increase the risk of lung cancer in people who smoke. A review of 42 studies found that while calcium from food sources did not increase the risk of heart disease, calcium from supplements might increase heart disease and heart attack risk. Unlike the natural folate found in food, folic acid from supplements has been associated with an increased risk of prostate cancer. And one thing that you'll notice when you read these studies is that there's a higher incidence of specific types of cancers when one ingests synthetic vitamins. Why? Because there's no intelligent vibration in these supplements. When we take in dumbed down or dead nutrients, the cells get confused. And what is cancer? The cells can't remember what they're supposed to do because they lose their intelligence and start to do odd things, like growing out of control into tumors. This is exactly what we mean by lack of intelligence creating unintelligent cells. Whenever groups of people are examined by teams of scientists because they live to be over 100 years old, it's always found that they're eating foods originating from the earth, not processed food devoid of pranic energy. They're drinking milk directly from the cows or the goats, not ingesting synthetically made coffee creamer, skim, or powdered milk. And you can bet these centenarians aren't taking large doses of synthetically made vitamins. I hope this information helps you in your quest to attain perfect health. Thank you.